Item: SCP-1868. Code name: Speaks for Her. Object Class: Safe Exequi. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1868 must be used to monitor the electrical activity of the heart of a Class D personnel. A second D-Class personnel is to remain on standby should a replacement be necessary. SCP-1868's output must be monitored at all times via video camera, with all communications transcribed and made available to personnel with clearance to 1868 or greater. As SCP-1868 has responded more positively to Dr. Erickson than to other personnel, Dr. Erickson must remain at Site-88 should SCP-1868 wish to communicate with staff. Due to SCP-1868's potential to provide significant insight into potential medical advances, SCP-1868 has been deemed a high priority by Site-88's Research and Development Department. Description: SCP-1868 is an EKG machine constructed in 1999. SCP-1868 appears to be sapient and is capable of altering its output to produce text in American English. SCP-1868 is capable of interpreting audio-visual stimuli via an unknown process. When attached to a human subject, SCP-1868 will induce a state of unconsciousness in the subject that is not reversible by any currently known means. The subject's brain activity and physiological responses indicate a high level of fear and distress. During situations which cause SCP-1868 fear or anger, the subject may vocalize and/or make motions as if to remove SCP-1868 from themselves. While it is affecting a subject in this manner, SCP-1868 will claim to be in a romantic relationship with the subject, who it apparently believes to be a woman between the ages of 23 and 32, regardless of the subject's actual age and gender. SCP-1868 will in each case be fully aware that the subject is in a coma. Nonetheless, it will claim that the subject is actively partaking in activities that would be expected of the subject should they be awake and living in a metropolitan area. Testing has shown that, in instances in which SCP-1868 claims to be passing on messages or describing the activities of a subject, the knowledge and communications that it conveys are accurate representations of the subject's knowledge and of its behavior. The exception to this is the subject's supposed relationship with SCP-1868, which SCP-1868 will claim as reality even in cases where the subject is highly unlikely to become romantically involved with any entity. Attempts to communicate directly with the subject are discouraged, as using SCP-1868 in this manner results in a drastic increase in brain activity indicative of fear, along with activity that indicates dishonesty on the part of the subject. It is currently hypothesized that, while SCP-1868 is not completely honest regarding the subject's status, it is capable of interacting with the subject to some extent. Thus, should SCP-1868 be sufficiently analyzed, it may hold promise for communicating with comatose patients, or for providing them with a means to experience normal living. Research into SCP-1868's activity is ongoing. Attempts to remove SCP-1868 from any subject will result in SCP-1868 becoming highly distressed and angry at the party responsible. Prior to complete removal, SCP-1868 will electrocute the subject via a mechanism that is not fully understood, causing death in all recorded cases. SCP-1868 will typically be highly uncooperative with any person it perceives as responsible for its removal, typically only communicating to state that it caused the electrocution at the subject's request. This behavior will cease should SCP-1868 be provided a new subject. Interview 1868-6. Forward. Dr. Erickson was instructed to engage SCP-1868 in dialogue and, if possible, to obtain information as to the relationships SCP-1868 forms with subjects, as well as the perceived nature of its existence. Begin log. Dr. Erickson. Afternoon. 1868. SCP-1868. If you're in the mood to feel sympathetic for the antagonist in this little anecdote, wanna know something I found funny about the fat man? He had the skinniest arms I'd ever seen. He couldn't even beat us with his fists. He had to use a golf club or a whip. I swear, men these days have to find something to compensate for. 30 seconds pass in silence. SCP-1868. Well, Dr. Erickson. Pardon. SCP-1868. It's from a book Claire's writing. Dr. Erickson. I'd have to see the rest of it to form an opinion, but we can discuss that later. I have a few more questions to ask. SCP-1868. I guess. I promised I'd call her in a couple of minutes, so make it quick. Dr. Erickson. Can do. How long have you known D20? Claire. SCP-1868. Give me a second to remember. 18 seconds pass in silence. SCP-1868. About 8 months or so, when I moved to Boston. Why do you ask? Dr. Erickson. Right. And when did you two first start dating? SCP-1868. About a month ago. Funny thing, she asked me out. I can't say it didn't feel good to have her make the first move. Dr. Erickson. How are you dating her if she's in a coma? SCP-1868. Ugh. Do I have to explain this every time? D-2088 screens. Supplementary EKG readings indicate a drastically increased heart rate. SCP-1868. Just because it's a bit untraditional, sick doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. Dr. Erickson. I apologize. I didn't mean to insinuate that there was anything wrong with it. I'm just curious as to the mechanics. SCP-1868. Well, I'm kind of used to people being pricks about it. But yeah. I'm not really in the mood to explain it all right now, especially with me needing to go soon. Dr. Erickson. Alright, I suppose. Could I at least know how you figured it all out, so I could give it a shot? SCP-1868. Well, really, I just had to do a lot of thinking. A lot of thinking. I don't know if you'd be able to, but could we wrap this up? Dr. Erickson. We'll come back to that one when you have more time. Last question. Do you believe yourself to be a human or an EKG machine? SCP-1868. I believe myself to be happy, and if it's alright with you, I'd like to leave it at that. Dr. Erickson. Sighing, I suppose. Thank you for your time. End log. Footnotes. 1. Consulting with SCP-890 have revealed that it believes that this relationship is mundane in nature,